this is Natalia and Luxury with Natalia, another episode, and I am joined by a special guest today in Italy, and it's Uri Harash, who is from Perfetto Traveler. So delighted to have you today. How are you?
Thank you, Natalia. Yes, and nice to be with you and make ourselves available to this nice coffee time with you, virtual coffee.
Absolutely. It's been quite an interesting few months, and especially in the travel hospitality industry. Tell me a bit how you've been with all that.
Italy had the advantage of basically having the best vista on the situation, if you may, because we were the first to basically get hit by the virus so heavily, and also to be taking measures to protect ourselves and our guests around against that. So in a way, it's been an unfortunate but also a fortunate situation that allowed us to really, let's say, share our understandings with the world, with our community of travel advisors, the travel community as a whole. So it's it's of course everyone is learning to see the beauty and the possibilities that became available to us through those trying times.
Wonderful. And slowly and surely, at least here in France, things are getting back to semi-normal. Today, on the 2nd, we had the restaurants and bars reopening for the first time in 3 months. And hospitality, especially in the high-end sector, has still got some issues. Big hotels, grand hotels closed still. And I don't know how it's going for you, and you specialize in high-end travel. What's the situation?
Yes, hotels began, reopening slowly in Italy, but we are expecting pretty much, a group of nearly 100 of top luxury hotels to be open by July 1st. The announcement that will take place, that will start tomorrow, that Italy will welcome its guests from all over the European community. Was very positive for our hotel partners. Many of them reopened their doors to welcome our guests, and so that's been extremely positive. We already have gyms open, pools open, beach clubs open. So Italy has opened very nicely. People learn to coexist with the virus. People are respectful, are social distancing, or as I prefer to call it, physical distancing, because it's not that social after all to distance yourself from people. But it is it looks very like a great response from the people here on how to reopen steadily and safely.
Fantastic. Thanks for the insight. It's best to get it from the people on the ground. And certainly you've dealt with a lot in your fantastic professional career in terms of creating this business and offering clients VIP educational experiences, and also giving them access to maybe private, more luxurious opportunities that you wouldn't necessarily know about. So tell me a bit more about what you do.
Well, my background is in experiential education, which began back actually in Israel, where I grew up before I moved to Italy to study art. Italy has been my second and adoptive home in the past 20 years. But before then, I lived in Israel and grew up in the countryside. Very much was brought up with the ideas of Rudolf Steiner, for those who are familiar with Steiner's and his take on education. So our education was hugely experiential to begin with. And when I moved to Rome and resumed my career as a tour guide, I couldn't relate to tours, the regular tours that were like, okay, we'll do the Vatican for 3 hours and ancient Rome for 3 hours, which was all that was done, truly. So we began creating tours or education through experiences, whether it's playing soccer with local kids in Rome, or learning how to draw like a Leonardo in Milan. Of course, then later it became a trend, the gelato, the pizza making, but it doesn't end there for us. It's learning what the client is interested in, whether it's be gardening, and then going to the botanical garden in Rome or the Nympha gardens, and meeting with the gardeners. We have clients that just are interested in learning all sets of skills, how to make sandals in Capri, or how to restore ancient or an old Renaissance masterpiece painting. So all of those are part of our portfolio, and we keep extending it. It's all about basically private access, the way I look at it, and we do lots of private access to venues that I would not mention here. But the idea of private access to me is finding access to people's inner world that is normally unbeknown to them before they arrive to the destination. We all want to be transformed and renewed through travel. We all want to be educated through travel. So we had, luxury clients that we were able to get them into meeting with some of the top fashion designers in Italy because they were interested in design, or people were interested in how to learn how to make furniture or design a home, of course, ceramics and so forth, or hunting for a special painting, going to a special auction house, behind the scene, learning all of those things that, Italy is, of course, it's a land that never ceases to surprise and educate. We've been fortunate here to have first the Roman Empire coming to power and dominating the Mediterranean for so long, and then later the Renaissance. So two huge events on the scale of humanity occurred here, and we still enjoy the ripples of that. And so our responsibility towards our guests is to make that richness available to them through travel.
Wonderful. And actually, I am so missing Italy at the moment. It's just a hop from where I am currently, but I cannot wait to go back and explore more of Rome, of Florence, and also the hidden secrets that people don't know about. Especially, for example, one of my favorites is Taormina in Sicily. Such a beautiful place.
Yes, well, so I'll give you an example of Taormina. We had clients that were very much into The Godfather. And as you know, just around the corner from Taormina, Savoca and Forza d'Agro, they are two lovely towns where The Godfather was filmed. So we took them on a trip to see all of the sites where the film was filmed, and eventually we reproduced the films with the travelers as the main actors. And it was a beautiful undertaking. The clients did a fantastic job. They're, lovely friends from Manhattan that spoke Italian exactly like it was spoken in the movie, and we hired a local crew, and we took over the castle and privatized that. So they are just really fantastic things one can do if one is open and creative and is attentive to one's guests and their desires.
Sounds amazing. And that is pretty much spot on what you do. And something that I love to entertain as well, for more of an event side, is organizing unforgettable moments that people don't necessarily think about would be fantastic in a different setting. Like I did a really cool idea was playing golf on board a yacht with biodegradable golf balls. I mean, very simple thing, but moving it to another element, it just spices it up a bit. And I love that movie idea you just spoke about. I love it. It's amazing.
Yes, actually, speaking of private yachting, we had a beautiful family that came to the Gulf of Naples, and one of my best friends there is a very prominent tailor and menswear designer. One of the most famous in the world. And I asked him for a personal favor, and he went and met the guests on board and had his private tailor do the fitting for them. So then later he took them to his private studio, and I'm talking out of designers that have their shops on Madison Avenue and the Fifth Avenue in New York. So it was very, very rewarding for the guests to have that experience.
Wow, so you do go the extra mile, and I think that is what makes people come back, correct? What is it that makes them so intrigued and always repeating, coming back to you, not necessarily repeating the experience, but...
I think that guests are even very wealthy and well-traveled guests are still surprised by the level of service that could be available to them while traveling and throughout their trip. whether it's just having their preferences met and attended to. By now, luxury travelers already expect a welcome note and a welcome amenity in the room. So that will not tick their luxury radar. What ticks the luxury radar is really the personal touch. And of course, it's almost an overused word. But when you actually are attentive enough to think, for example, how your clients like to be addressed, how would they like to be contacted? Way before COVID, for example, we had a special etiquette for our guides and drivers of how to approach a client, when to extend their hand and when not to. And you know, it's luxuries in the details, and the details are can really produce a beautiful state. Like for example, we'll do a tour, a simple tour through Rome, but we will weave into that like a blind tasting of a gelato, things like that really makes a big difference. Are original. You cannot really imitate it. It has to be a genuine, in the moment attentiveness to your guests.
Fantastic. And so how much research goes into the preparation of the experience itself from your team?
A lot of it is done regardless of the clients. Actually, we invest tremendous amount of work in basically product development, if you wish. We work with our regional coordinators in every region of Italy to produce and curate new experiences on a regular basis. So, and that is done and then tested by our teams way before those experiences are even presented to the clients.
Wow, wonderful. I'd love to be one of your testers. If ever you need one, I'm here for you. Parlo un po' italiano.
Bravissima. And actually, we have a large, a nice portion of our team is Russian speaking as well.
Ah, excellent. I was going to say, what is the kind of client that comes to you? And of course, you have offices in New York to cater for that side of the world too.
Yes, I mean, by and large, Perfetto is a company that is facing travel agents. Our travel agents are let's say, family physicians that take care of the travelers 360 degrees, years for years after years. And we are more of the specialists. So when their clients are looking for support with Italy, they come to us. And it's a beautiful collaboration because they know already everything about the client. We know everything about the destination. We partner together to, in a seamless way. The agent has a lot of information about the client. They provide us with an incredible amount of data. And based on that, we can, sure the client has an experience of a lifetime. Whether it's staying at a luxury villa that we've curated, or we had clients that came especially to be trained in some sort of any sort of physical discipline activity, whether it's hiking or intense hiking, could be of course skiing, and so forth. We've had a lot of very beautiful curated programs for individual guests.
Sounds fantastic. So now that we're able slowly and surely to travel more, if people wanted to get into contact with you, how do they go about it? Where can we find out more?
Well, again, most of our guests, they have trusted travel advisors that they would reach out to, and they could ask them to reach out to Perfetto. Of course, Perfetto has a website, which I'm sure you'll share with our audience. And the advantage of having an office in New York is, of course, that we're available to our guests in their time zone prior to the trip, and of course, are available on the ground when they take the trip as well. So we are really, truly embody the concept of 24/7. Before COVID, I must say that it's been a very long run of year after year of growth and no days off. And it is like you when you're on, and our clients have only one phone call to spare, and when they make that phone call, they better be attended to. Otherwise, they would call someone else, and we know that, and so we are ready to take that call.
Wonderful. I really appreciate your time, and I'm very excited to meet you, hopefully in person in the near future, to hear more about your
Yes,
experiences.
you too, dear. Thank you so much, and have you a wonderful time in France. And congratulations on the reopenings.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been another episode of Luxury with Natalia. Comment and like and subscribe, of course, and more episodes coming real soon. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Ciao.